Hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Stories and Sleepy Souls. Well, today I have some scary black screen stories to help you fall asleep peacefully. I'm damn sure that before the end of these stories, you're gonna fall asleep. So, like this video and subscribe the channel. And did you like my stories? Did you like my voice? Tell me in the comments. So, are you ready? Turn the lights off, close your eyes and start listening me. The Last Delivery. It was a chilly autumn night, and I was just about ready to clock out for my part-time gig as a pizza delivery driver. The pizzeria had been unusually quiet all evening, and I was looking forward to heading home. Just as I was putting away my delivery bag, an order came through. I groaned when I saw the address, Cedar Drive, far out on the outskirts of town. I'd heard the stories about that place, but I shrugged it off. Rumors are just rumors, right? Besides, the promise of a good tip was enough to get me to grab the insulated bag and head out. The drive started off uneventful, but as I got closer to Cedar Drive, things started to feel off. The street lights thinned out, and the woods on either side of the road seemed to loom closer. By the time I reached the end of the narrow driveway, I was staring at a crumbling old mansion. It looked like it had been abandoned for years. Broken windows, peeling paint, and weeds taller than me. My gut told me to turn around, but I had a job to do. I parked the car and stepped out, the cool air heavy and unsettlingly quiet. Clutching the pizza box, I walked up to the front door. It was massive and imposing, with intricate carvings that had long since faded. I knocked, the sound echoing unnaturally loud in the silence. No answer. I knocked again, harder this time. Just as I was about to leave, the door creaked open on its own. My heart skipped a beat, but I called out anyway. "Hello? Your pizza's here." I tried to keep my voice steady, but it trembled. The dim light from inside flickered faintly, casting long, eerie shadows. Against my better judgment, I stepped in. "Hello?" I called again. The air inside was thick, smelling of damp wood and something metallic, like rust. The floor creaked under my sneakers as I made my way further in, following the flickering light. Then she appeared. An old woman shuffled out of the shadows, hunched over and moving slowly. Her gray hair was a wild, tangled mess, and her face was deeply lined, her eyes sunken but oddly sharp. She wore a faded apron over a worn-out dress and gave me a weak smile that sent a chill down my spine. "You're here," she rasped. "Place it on the dining table, dear." I hesitated but nodded. Sure. That'll be $19.99. She didn't respond, just turned and shuffled toward what I assumed was the dining room. I followed, feeling every hair on my body stand on end. The dining room was like something out of a horror movie. An antique table covered in dust, mismatched chairs, and half-burned candles that flickered despite the still air. The only clean spot was at the head of the table, where polished silverware gleamed under the weak light. The walls were lined with old portraits of a family, their stern faces frozen in time, but something about their eyes, they seemed alive, watching me. I placed the pizza box on the table and turned to her. "That'll be $19.99, I said again, my voice shaky. She smiled wider this time, pulling a crumpled $20 bill from her apron. When her hand brushed mine, it was icy cold. I resisted the urge to pull away. "Keep the change," she said softly. "You should stay for dinner." I forced a laugh. "Thanks, but I've got other deliveries to make." As I turned to leave, I heard it. Faint whispers, so quiet I almost thought I was imagining them. I froze and looked around, but there was no one else there. The old woman was gone. The whispers grew louder and my chest tightened. I hurried to the front door, but when I tried to open it, it wouldn't budge. Panic set in as I yanked at the handle. The door wouldn't move, no matter how hard I pulled. Then the temperature in the room dropped, and I could see my breath in the faint light. The candles in the dining room flared brightly before snuffing out, plunging the house into darkness. I grabbed my phone, fumbling to turn on the flashlight. The beam barely cut through the gloom. That's when I noticed the portraits. They weren't the same. The faces were twisted now, their expressions grotesque, their mouths open in silent screams. My stomach churned and I stumbled back. "Stay," a voice whispered, close to my ear. Too close. I whipped around, but there was no one there. My flashlight flickered, and suddenly, she was standing right in front of me. The old woman. Her eyes were no longer human. They were pitch black, her mouth stretched impossibly wide into a grotesque grin.